What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from different comic book companies. Today, we're going to jump back over to DC Comics and continue our coverage over the Infinite Frontier, and we're going to pick up with Wonder Girl. Now, this is the new Wonder Girl, and the last time we picked up with this Wonder Girl, we were actually calling her Wonder Woman in the Future State event. Well, that was in the future of DC Universe. This is the present day, and we're going to call her for now Wonder Girl and learn about her, wondering how she got her powers and what leads up to her becoming the next Wonder Woman. So if you do like today's comic book video, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe. But here we go. With the opening of this video, we pick up with Wonder Girl's past, where we pick up with a young Wonder Girl, aka Yara Flor, where we see her being held by her mother, who is surrounded by a bunch of different Amazons, leaving us wondering what is going on here. Why are they trying to protect Yara Flor and her mother from? Well, they are being followed and about to be attacked by the god of war Ares and some of his followers. This leads up into a big moment of the book, where you have the young Yara Flor try to stab Ares, which is a big mistake. Even if she is a young girl, this is a huge mistake. You have Ares looking at her like, what did you think is going to happen? Like, did you really think that you could kill me with a small knife? Either way, you have Ares actually thinking about killing Yara Flor right there for what she did. Except you have her mother step in and tell Ares to kill her instead of killing Yara Flor. Of course, he does that, but we know that Ares is not going to stop there. He wants to kill Yara Flor as well, except another Amazon grabs Yara Flor and they leave the scene before Ares is able to kill her too. That is where we finally jump back to the present day, where we have an adult Yara Flor traveling towards Brazil. Now, she mentions that she has not been there since she was born, so this is her first time being back there. She's hoping to learn something about herself, but also maybe her family history as well. We then jump over to Themyscira, where we get reminded that Nubia, is it Nubia or Nubia? Is now the one who is leading Themyscira since Hippolyta has stepped down. She is the one in charge here, except while she is watching some competition, she feels something dark in the world coming, which of course makes her concerned about what is about to happen in the world. That trend continues when you have different people freaking out because something dark is coming to the earth. The reason why I say that is because we pick up with Zeus, the main leader of the gods of Olympus, who was waiting for his wife Hera so they can talk. She mentions that she has some nightmares, but just like Nebula, she also freaks out because she just sensed something in the air. We then jump over to another group of Amazons who live in Egypt. These are Amazons who broke away from Themyscira thousands of years ago. They disowned the gods from Olympus. If you read Red Hood and the Outlaws in DC Rebirth, Artemis is from this group of Amazons, but their Queen Faruka, I just butchered that name, please forgive me. She also senses something evil coming into the world, showing us something is coming soon. It is not just the people who are tied into the mythos of the Amazons. It is different people across the DC universe who all rely on Earth. In the middle of all of this, of course, Yara Flor. So it is telling us that she's the key for something dark that could be coming towards the DC universe. Either way, with her arriving at Rio de Janeiro, she came here for some tour across the area that could lead her finding out something about her past. We pick up with her on the bus that is leading towards the hotel so she can rest for the night. Well, the bus driver mentioned that there is some kind of traffic going on. That of of course makes Yara Flor think about going out there to see what it is. It was some random car accident in the middle of the road. Really, this is just a moment to show how strong and fast Yara Flor is, because how quickly she is able to save the man who was still trapped inside the car. Also gets a love interest, which is Zhao. I hope I said that correctly. Who was the bus driver we met just a moment ago. Again, this is just a moment to show off her skills. But after that, you have Hera, Nebia, and Queen Faryuka all planning to do something with Yara Flor. Hera wants to use Yara Flor as some kind of weapon. Nebia wants to move Yara Flor away from Brazil, but Queen Faryuka wants to kill her. That to the queen, if they don't kill Yara, it could give Hera a chance to attack them. So Queen Faryuka wants to get rid of Yara Flor before that can happen. To close on the first chapter of this book, we actually pick up with Yara Flor and her tour group visiting Iguazu Falls, where it's supposed to be a normal part of her tour. She even runs into some guy who thinks he is going to be famous one day. Either way though, while she is looking over the edge of the walkway to look down into the waterfall, something out of nowhere grabs her by the neck and pulls her into the water, which begins the process of her drowning. Except out of nowhere, after she is killed by drowning, well, that is when her body is brought back to life. When she opens her eyes, well, she is surrounded by some kind of mermaid, leaving us to wonder what is going on here. Now we learned that this creature name is Lara, and this is where we get the origin of this character. The first thing we learn is that Lara was a great warrior who was really loved by her father, but she had two brothers who were jealous of her because of how much love she received from their father. So you had the two brothers actually attack their own sister and try to kill her. Of course they failed because of how great of a warrior she is, except you had the father get upset with what happened, even though it was his sons who attacked his daughter. Either way, you had Lara's father throw her off the cliff and was supposed to drown, but she didn't, except she grew a fishtail and became this mermaid-like character that was supposed to protect this secret water from men who would try to get into the water. Now, she didn't kill Yara Flor. Instead, she gives Yara Flor a weapon to use for her future adventures. Then you have Lara throw Yara Flor out of the waterfall and everyone is freaking out. This includes Zhao as well. Before we can see how they are going to help Yara Flor, well, the story skips back over to the Amazons of Bana-Mighdall. I know I just butchered that, please forgive me. The ones that live in Egypt. Well, we see that they are going to send in Artemis. Again, if you had read Red Hood and the Outlaws in the DC Rebirth era, you would know that she was from there. She is going because she knows this Yara Flor situation is really important and should not be taken lightly. There's another couple panels showing that Yara Flor is okay, but also that maybe her and Zhao could possibly be liking each other. Well, they do, but it could lead into them dating maybe down the road. Now going over to the Hall of Justice, there is a good reason why. That is because we pick up with Queen Hippolyta. Remember, she stepped down after her daughter, Wonder Woman, had supposedly died, and she is somewhat staying with the Justice League as a reserve member. Well, she senses that this Yara Flor situation could get worse, so she is going to send in the second person who was Wonder Girl, and kinda still is on the Young Justice team, Cassandra Sandmark. If you have no idea who she is, well, she is the niece to Wonder Woman because Cassandra's father is Lennox. Lennox is one of the many kids of Zeus, making Cassandra Zeus' granddaughter. But it is Hippolyta telling Cassandra that she needs to find Yara Flor, which of course Cassandra is down to do it. Getting back to Yara Flor, we see her on a plane with Zhao. They are flying back to her hotel, where this is supposed to be another sweet moment between the two of them and get them closer, except that is when you have some Amazons from Egypt appear on the plane. These are just some random assassins who came here to kill Yara Flor for Queen Faryuka before Artemis is able to arrive. Yara Flor is able to use her newly awakened powers to take both of them out, except Yara Flor makes a hole in the plane, which of course you know that this plane is going to crash very soon. While all of that is going on, remember that both Cassandra Sandmark and Artemis are both out there running around Brazil looking for Yara Flor. That leads into both of them finding the same camera guy earlier that was around Yara Flor before she fell in the water, hoping that he could lead them to finding Yara Flor. But since they are from different fractions of the Amazons and have different reasons for finding Yara Flor, well, they begin fighting. But at the tail end of their fight, they are greeted by more Amazons, but these Amazons belong to a new group and telling them both to leave. Getting back to Yara Flor after the plane crash, well, we see that everyone on the plane is okay except those Amazons who tried to kill her earlier. That is when we see Eros, who is working for Hera. He is Hera's grandson, but he is the god of love, sexual desire, and attraction. Usually his arrows lead into people falling in love and stuff with the first person they see. Well, he is not immune to his own arrows. So of course, when he cuts himself on accident, well, his powers affect him and makes him fall in love with Yara Flor. Don't worry, he is not alone, because Eros also brought, and I'm going to butcher this name, Zapdaros, the god of the wind of the west. So we see this wind-looking creature about to attack Yara Flor. Now, the opening of the 3rd chapter quickly shows us that Yara Flor and Zhao like each other because in the opening pages, they kiss. So you're like, that is great, but what about Eros, who is also in love with Yara Flor now? Well, he just shoots another arrow, but he misses. But that is when we see that there are some creatures who begin to appear around Eros. Yara Flor is seeing these creatures begin to surround Eros, and she has no idea who he is, but she knows that she has to jump in and save this man who is in danger. Zhao would be me in this situation, like wondering why in the world is Yara Flor running towards a bunch of glowing looking creatures, except we know why. She is going because she is the hero of the book. This ties into Brazilian folklore that these creatures belong to a creature named Coco. We see her and she looks like an alligator looking creature, but in real life she is, or sometimes he was, the Spanish version of the boogeyman. Either way, this person wants to talk to Yara Flor, but of course, she does not want to listen. Getting back to Cassandra Sandmark and Artemis, who are fighting against the Amazons who are from Themyscira. Remember that Cassandra Sandmark wasn't sent by Themyscira, she was sent by Hippolyta. So when Cassandra Sandmark tried to reason with these Amazons, they were like, we are not on the same side. You were sent by the old queen. Either way, you have Cassandra Sandmark and Artemis work together to actually beat these Amazons, and everything is okay now. After the fight, you have Cassandra Sandmark make a point to work together because they are both looking for Yara Flor. So why not work together to find this person? But of course, at first, you have Artemis say no to the idea. After a while, it shows that it is the best for the two of them to work together, so they do. But we can tell that Artemis is going to hate this team up. Getting back to the main character of the book, who is preparing to fight Coco and all of her fellow creatures, well, Yara Flor's weapon, that she gained earlier from Lara doesn't work, or Yara Flor doesn't know how to fight with it properly, leaving us wondering what is going to happen now. But then you have Eros appear and stab Yara Flor with one of his arrows. Remember, Eros' arrow can make anyone fall in love with the first person they see, which of course, the first person Yara Flor sees is Eros himself. Now, there's a good reason why he did this, because remember that Eros is working for his grandmother Hera, who really wants Yara Flor to come back to Olympus. So with him being the first thing Yara Flor sees after being stabbed by one of his arrows, she quickly falls in love with Eros. So that will make Yara Flor want to leave with Eros back to Olympus. This is where we come to find out that Coco didn't want to fight Yara Flor. Instead, she was trying to have Yara Flor live up to her destiny. Yara Flor's destiny is to protect these forests. Even Zhao is begging her to stay, but the arrows of Eros makes her leave with Eros. Switching back to Cassandra Sandmark and Artemis, well, we see them looking for Yara Flor at the waterfalls that Yara Flor had fallen in earlier. Except, of course, she is not there. Now, Cassandra Sandmark sees something or someone running in the shadows. So, Cassandra Sandmark tries to cut off this person or thing from getting away, only to end up getting captured by another Amazon. Cassandra Sandmark is lucky that Artemis was around to save her, but this random Amazon is actually from a newly never talked about third faction, that there is another group of Amazons out there, and this is our first time learning about it. Before we can learn more about the new third faction, we have to get back to Yara Flor, who has arrived at Olympus. And this is the moment you have Yara Flor meet the one person who has been pulling all of the strings with the gods. Of course, that person is Hera, who really wanted Yara Flor so badly, and now she got the one person she wanted. Now, at the opening of the 4th chapter, we quickly learn that some time has passed by for Yara Flor on Olympus. Time on Earth has only been maybe a few hours, but here on Olympus, time has flown by a lot. And we see Yara Flor being trained now by Sharon, who is known for training a lot of people who are connected to the gods of Olympus, except Yara Flor is having a hard time actually grasping everything that he is teaching her. This is actually making it hard for her to be able to get this winged horse that she is going to call later on Jerry to be on her side. Since this training is taking too long, well, it is making Hera very impatient. She was hoping that Yara Flor would come in and learn everything very quickly, but of course she is not. With her failing, it is beginning to ruin her mental health and the idea if she is even able to complete this training. She even wants to learn how to use the bola, the weapon she got from Lara from the waterfalls earlier. Except Sharon tells her that even if he shows her how to use the weapon, it takes skills to actually master the use of the weapon and use the powers behind the weapon. With that all happening, well, it does begin to take a stroll on her, and she starts to think that maybe she will never be able to tame the winged horse, which of course its name is Jerry, except she does. But only because the winged horse, I guess, felt bad for her and decided that it now wanted to be her friend and actually work with Yara Flor. So you have the winged horse take Yara Flor to meet up with Sharon, and they kind of work together to surprise Sharon. So with her being able to complete all of her training, you have Yara Flor hanging out with Eros, because you have to remember that one of his arrows cut him, so he loves Yara Flor. At the same time, she was stabbed by another arrow, so she loves Eros as well, except she still has feelings for Zhao. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because Eros mentions an elixir that will make Yara Flor be Hera's bodyguard or personal weapon, but the elixir is going to grant different things for Yara Flor, except she has to drink the elixir. except before she is able to agree to take it, well, she has to go back to Earth to see someone. That person is Zhao, since they still love each other, and we can see that even though some time has passed by, they still have some strong feelings towards each other and are trying to spend some time with one another. Except while Yara Flor is trying to talk about what decision she should make when it comes to taking this elixir and giving up a mortal life, so while she is talking on and on about what she should do, well, this man fell asleep on her. So there goes any chance of her getting some kind of advice from Zhao. Except she is then visited by Hippolyta, another Amazon from the third group of Amazons, and the one we saw earlier who almost captured Cassandra Sandmark and also got captured by Artemis. Well, Hippolyta is going to explain the origin of both the third fraction of the Amazons and also Yara Flor's origin. We learned that Yara Flor's mother, the one we saw who was killed by Ares in the beginning of our video, was part of the first group of Amazons, the ones that lived on Themyscira. She did not believe in the path for either factions, to be more exact. So the ones on Themyscira and the ones in Egypt, she left to be able to explore the man's world. Except when she got to Brazil, she fell in love with the god and got pregnant with Yara. Now the name of the god is unknown, but after getting pregnant, a bunch of women came around Yara's mother and they formed a new Amazon group based on the Brazilian gods. Then we pick up in the beginning where Yara's mother was killed by Ares. Before Yara Flor can learn more, you have Artemis and Cassandra Sandmark appear upset. Well, Artemis is upset because she thinks that Yara Flor has taken the elixir and is working for Hera now. This is where you have Cassandra Sandmark mention that she has a lot of eyes on her, meaning Yara Flor. Meaning that whatever choice Yara Flor makes, it could lead into big things happening for the Earth. Some time has passed by and we pick up with Yara Flor back on Olympus, where she is surrounded by Eros, Hera, and some guards, because this is the moment Yara Flor is supposed to take the elixir and become the personal weapon for Hera. Except you don't have Yara Flor drink the elixir because she wants to know why Hera wants Yara Flor so badly. You have Hera explain that basically because Yara Flor is from a different set of gods, it would be great to have an Amazon who has powers from different gods on her side to be her personal weapon, just to be a tool against the other groups of gods or Amazons who believe in the other gods to get her way. Also, it seems as someone who could attack other gods from Olympus to get whatever she wants. So of course, she ends up spilling the whole elixir on the ground to show Hera that she will not be taking the elixir, which of course makes Hera upset because she did all of this to be able to get Yara Flor here, and to see her just throw it on the ground is a high level of disrespect. So you have Hera send in her bronze guards to basically kill off Yara Flor, or to capture her to be more exact. Except thanks to the training Yara Flor has received, well, she is able to beat these bronze guards very quickly. Words get out quickly about what Yara Flor did, because you have Hermes meeting up with Cassandra Sandmark and he's telling her what went down on Olympus, except he says that she has not left there yet, meaning that Yara Flor is currently hiding out there on Olympus from the gods because Yara Flor doesn't know how to leave and come back to Earth's world. Hermes leaves and Cassandra Sandmark tells Hermes to tell Zeus, Zeus being her grandfather, that she says hi. Yara Flor is hiding out in Olympus, doesn't really last that long because she is found by the wind god, I cannot pronounce his name, who uses his powers to basically throw Yara Flor and Jerry the horse with wings out of the sky. This is also supposed to be the moment where it seems that Jerry the winged horse is killed, except we know that he is not dead, since he was in future state with Yara Flor first appeared. Getting back to Cassandra Sandmark, this is the moment where she learns about the third Amazon tribe that lives in Brazil. Patera only told Yara Flor, she did not mention anything to Cassandra Sandmark or Artemis. So this is Patera telling her, like, yes, there is another group of Amazons, and Patera is going to show Cassandra Sandmark this third fraction's home. So you have Patera take Cassandra Sandmark to Akim, the home of the Brazilian Amazons. And we then switch back to Olympus, and there are a few more pages where we see Yara Flor is still trying to survive on Olympus and try to get away from the guards, except finally you have Hera being able to capture Yara Flor in a matter of a few more pages. But before we can see what happened there, we have to jump back to Akim, because we get another classic Wonder Woman character brought in this huge story given to us right now. Because back on Akim, we see Patera showing Cassandra Sandmark around the place, but explains that they are going to go on Olympus to hopefully save Yara Flor, which is the first thing they plan to do. But after they are going to march onto the Mascara next, which is a huge statement to make in front of an Amazon who is from there. Now, that is not the big surprise I was talking about earlier, but instead I was talking about the fact that Donna Troy is there too, and she is going to be like Yara Flor, a weapon that needs to be used in the big upcoming war. Shifting the focus back on Yara Flor, we see that she has landed in Tartarus, where she is greeted by the demon women. These women are just some random characters who are here making it seem they're going to overpower Yara Flor and maybe take her hostage, except they don't, because when they do get close to Yara Flor, something is behind Yara Flor that scares them away. Well, they try to run away, but they get squashed by this giant monster, and his name is just Giant Man, which is a basic name for a giant-like creature. Either way, this giant creature is able to capture Yara Flor for Hera. That leads into her waking up in a cage and being confronted by Eros, who begins to ask her why she did not take the elixir, which she does reply that would be taking away a chance to have a life that was meant for her, rather than being stuck somewhere that she does not belong at. Remember that her powers are not coming from the gods of Olympus, so it would be weird for her to stay with the gods of Olympus if she is not even from there. So you have Eros just leave Yara Flor still locked up in the cage, and of course it's messed up. Now you have Giant Man come back again and begin to beat down on Yara Flor all over the place. This scene goes on forever, and I mean forever, because you have Yara Flor get beat down first, except after a while she gets tired of getting her butt kicked and decides to finally beat up Giant Man. This is also the moment that Yara Flor weapon finally activates and gives her the ability to beat down on Giant Man. And this is also the moment we learn that Jerry the Winged Horse is still alive after all of this time. We knew that he wasn't dead because we saw him in the future state Wonder Woman storyline, but for the sake of this book, it was kind of like, oh my god, Jerry is dead. After that, we see them go to the Gates of Olympus. Of course, this is going to give them the chance to be able to go home. Except, of course, she has no idea on how to open the gate. This is the moment we learn that Zeus had no idea about the plan Hera had going on at the moment. You have Eros run in and beg Hera to tell Zeus what is going on with Yara Flor, except of course she does not want to tell her husband. Instead, what she wants to do is actually make Eros gather more troops to help her in capturing Yara Flor before word gets out. Back on Earth, well really on the other side of the Olympus gate, we see that Patera and the group of Amazons from Brazil are ready to march on the gates of Olympus. So of course, they are going to do this to basically save Yara Flor, but at the same time, they have to figure out how they are going to open the gate. Also, we get a powerful speech from Patera about how important it is for the tribe to get Yara Flor and to bring her back home to Earth. To close on the 6th chapter, we pick up with Yara Flor again, who does hear the voices of the Amazons from Brazil on the other side of the gate, except she ignores it and tries to open the gate so she can get out of Olympus. The problem is that while she is doing that, well, that is the big moment. You have Ares appear, and of course, he appears with some of his guys. This is huge because remember that this is the person who killed Yara Flor's mother. So seeing him here right now, well, of course, she wants to end this person here and now. And this is where we are going to end today's video. So please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read? Well, please let me know in the comments below because you never know. Your suggestion could be a future video down the road, but I do hope you enjoy today's video.